Do you have a pinch me moment when it comes to all the things you've done in Star Wars? Like you look at your, I sat down. Alfie knows we were at the ICCC and they looked at me and said, "Hey Joe, we're going to be interviewing Ian McDiarmid, the Emperor, and we'd like you to be a part of that and interview him." And I looked over and I said, "Me?" And I could feel my heart pounding. I was, I felt tingly. I got finished and I was like, guys, I need a few minutes, right? And it was just very weird to think that a guy from Indiana who'd grown up watching this could be sitting down with Ian McDiarmid and interviewing. But do you have a time like that where you can say, this is something that I just can't believe I was getting a chance to do?
Well, I think one of those times, or several times, was being on the sets of episodes 1, 2, and 3
Mm.
for a couple of days, helping lead the fan magazine editors. At one point, we had 7 international editions of the Star Wars Insider, all different magazines, but based on the Insider. And so one of the things that we did was bring them first to Leavesden Studios in the UK for episode 1, and then to Sydney, Australia for episodes 2 and 3, and actually let them interview the actors and George and Rick McCallum. And so I was in on all of those, standing on the set where Obi-Wan and Anakin were going at it in the final battle of Revenge of the Sith. And it was actually just a ramp all painted in green. And then seeing it in the final movie, we were on the set when Anakin killed the Tusken Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So it was it was an inside set. It was like sand and the sort of the housing structures, the teepee-like structures. And I thought that was amazing. For episode 1, it was being on the set when Qui-Gon's body was cremated, memorialized. And so they didn't burn Liam Neeson, don't get the wrong idea. He was too expensive. So they had a wax dummy, and they had one of the standby costumes, and they had gas flames coming up. And George called cut, and 2 guys came in with fire extinguishers, put out the flames, and then carried the wax dummy out the back of the outside set, just in case they needed to reshoot it, they needed to reuse the dummy, because it was high temperature melting wax. It didn't melt. And everybody else, the set broke, and everybody else went out the front of the set, except for me. I figured I would trail these guys and see if anything was available. And I went out the back. They had already left, nowhere to be seen. But there in the grass was this wet pile of cloth and leather, and even the sole of a boot, which when I tried to touch it, immediately crumbled into a million pieces. But I took that, and I took the other pieces of leather and a food pellet from the belt, and I stuffed them in my pocket, which immediately got wet. So people stared at me for the next 4 hours. But I have parts of Qui-Gon's burned costume.
What was that movie line? If pee in your pants is cool, I'm Miles Davis. You can change it now. If pee in your pants is cool, I'm Steve Sansweet. That's absolutely awesome. That's awesome.